Dragon Ball Z is mainly known for having very powerful characters. Many of those characters have very unique and very iconic designs. But out of all the characters Dragon Ball Z has introduced, who is the strongest of them all? Now, strength can be defined in many different ways. For example, Guldo. He may not be the strongest, but he does have a very unique ability in where he can stop time. Another example is Captain Ginyu. He can literally switch bodies with anybody. Now imagine if Guldo and Captain Ginyu actually work together. Guldo could freeze time, and then Captain Ginyu could go in while time is frozen and steal their opponent's body. The only problem with that is similar to the way when Captain Ginyu first stole Goku's body. He did not know how to use it. In fact, his power level actually decreased. Now, stepping out of the realm of the Ginyu Force, who else could potentially be the strongest of all? And a more obvious answer would of course be Majin Buu. Now, we all know that Majin Buu is very strong. In fact, he was able to keep up with Super Saiyan 3 Goku. However, Majin Buu is not the strongest version of Buu. That title actually goes to Super Buu. And I feel like Super Buu has two of the greatest techniques in all of Dragon Ball Z. And those techniques are the Candy Beam and the Absorption technique. With the use of his Candy Beam, he was actually almost able to take out Vegito, which, as everyone should know, is one of the cruelest characters in existence. However, Buu's most useful technique is by far his absorption technique. He managed to get out of so many conflicts simply by absorbing his foes. And each time Buu absorbs a different person, he gains their power. So let's just say, for example, if Majin Buu absorbed an omnipotent being, would that make Majin Buu omnipotent? And I personally think yes, because if Majin Buu somehow absorbed an omnipotent being, for example, let's just use Whis, he would become as strong, if not stronger, than Whis. But I feel like that's going to be a discussion for another day, so let's move on to the next person who I think can be the strongest of all. The next warrior I want to touch on is King Cold. Now, King Cold, many people speculate that King Cold was actually in his second form while on Earth. And I find that to be very believable, because if you look at King Cold, he looks exactly like Frieza in his second form. However, it just doesn't make sense how King Cold is just staying in his second form for no apparent reason. So that leads me to believe that King Cold is either in his first form or he just doesn't have any transformations at all. And the reason I'm even bringing up King Cold is that one slight chance that he did have the potential to go even further beyond into a third, fourth, fifth even transformation, and if he did, I feel like his power would be way beyond Trunks, who was the person who actually killed him. In fact, I feel like King Cold could have been as strong as Frieza in the new Revival of F movie. That's only if he has transformations, which I personally don't think he has. Now, we briefly touched on Whis before, and I really want to come back to that because, as everybody knows at this point, Whis is the pinnacle of Dragon Ball Z. He is at the top. There hasn't been a being so far that can even come close to Whis. Whis is said to be 50% stronger than Beerus. That is actually proven in the end of Battle of Gods when Whis flies down and chops Beerus on the back of the neck. Now, all the guys that I mentioned before, Guldo and Captain Ginyu, Majin Buu, they don't stand a chance against Whis. Even if Guldo froze time and Captain Ginyu managed to somehow switch bodies back with Whis, Whis has the ability to go back in time. Along with that, he is just fast. He was able to keep up with Goku and Vegeta, fighting them at the exact same time. And I feel if Majin Buu tried to absorb Whis, it just wouldn't go well for Majin Buu, because Whis is just so fast that he would never let it happen. It would never get to a stage where Majin Buu feels like he needs to absorb Whis, because Majin Buu would already be dead. And I think it's kind of funny when you look at all these badass character designs. For example, you have Cell, you have Final Form Frieza, you have Broly, and then you just have Whis. Whis doesn't look like a fighter, but he could wipe out the entire universe by blinking. Now, I may be over-exaggerating there just a little bit, but until we see more of Whis, potentially in Dragon Ball S or Dragon Ball Super, then maybe we can finally have a proper scale on Whis' full ability. Because all we really know right now is that Whis teaches whoever the God of Destruction is at that time, along with him being able to rewind time. So I definitely think Whis is an interesting character, and I do feel that he earns the title of being the strongest of all. And now something I just want to quickly bring up is Goku and Vegeta. If they fused into Vegito as gods, as Super Saiyan gods, would they therefore take the title off of Whis, and they would actually be the strongest of all? And I would actually go in depth with this, but we don't know enough about it, and that's where I'm going to leave it to you guys. Do you guys think the fusion of Goku and Vegeta as gods would be enough to put a dent in Whis. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below, so if you do have an opinion on this, let everybody know. So with all of that said, I'll see you guys in the next Dragon Ball Z video.